होगा. So, what is the reason why we build these wells?
To store the water. To store.
Store water. We store water? Mineral water? Okay, so don't you think it's very important? The water is stored in wells, it's stored in reservoirs, it's stored in lakes, it's stored in oceans, it's stored in rivers. So the water has a basin which is made up of rocks. Today you empty all the oceans, empty all the rivers, what do you see at the base? Is a rock. So again it relates that this is our lifeline. If you don't have a container or a reservoir, where are we going to store the water? Okay? Look at this. Okay? कुएं से आ गया, नलके से आ गया, फिर पानी कहाँ रखते हैं आप? In a pitcher, in a glass bottle, again a use of mineral where you store the water. See, because I thought how will I relate with you, so I have tried to put very simple things which are relatable, and this is how we need to relate with our students. Okay?
Myself, from Lucknow. आज से वीडियो में उसको पूजा करते हैं, जैसे कहते हैं माता भूमि पुत्र प्रज्ञा, तो आज से ही जुड़ी हुई आपके आचार से जुड़ी हुई है. जितने भी हमारी वैदिक पूजा होती है कहीं ना कहीं हमारी प्रकृति को ही देखती हैं और वो नेचर को भी जोड़ती हैं, तो वो हम लोग उसको जोड़ते हैं, उसको पढ़ाते भी चाहिए, जोड़ना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल जोड़ना चाहिए, because यही तो relevance है. Today we are exploiting earth like anything, and that's the price we are paying. Why did we construct Dharali? Why did we construct Dharali? There was a lot of loss of life, property, because we made a blunder by constructing. So cloudburst तो होगा, that's a natural phenomena. I understand climate change. When there were no humans, no anthropogenic activity, then also cloudburst happened. You said we only have data for last 100 years, 135 years, but climate change has been taking place for millions of years. Because I am a geologist, millions, billions we talk about, not in years, but billions of years. So the point is that we need to make students sensitive towards earth resources, and that is how they will inculcate that respect for earth. We just cannot bombard them by talking about climate change. They have to understand the basics of climate change. That is very pertinent. Alright, so this is, how many of you can identify this? What is this?
Bay.
Yes, this is ocean floor, different depths, where you can see the deepest point, that is an ocean trench, which is deeper than the height of Mount Everest. Almost 13 kilometers. तो आप में से कितने लोगों को trenches के बारे में पता है as teachers? What is a trench? Mariana Trench. Okay, some of you must be knowing, but आप सबको पता है ocean floor के बारे में? Now these are the places, for example, continental shelf, continental slope, which are very important because a lot of our resources, for example, petroleum, if you visit Bombay High, तो जिस गाड़ी में आप आए हैं, जिस जहाज में आप आए हैं, उसका raw material क्या है? And what else? Petroleum is a fuel, but उसकी body किससे बनी है? Everything is resource from earth. So we are connecting with earth, why rocks, why minerals are important. एक दिन खाने में नमक कम होता है, we get very anxious. So it is a resource from earth. आप relate कीजिए ना हर चीज. So this is our lifeline. So why I am talking so much about relatability, because I chose a topic which says that it is our lifeline. Alright? Let's talk about the division of time. We started with Stone Age, when we had nomadic life. People were not settling down. They were hopping from one place to another. Then with the discovery of wheat, things changed. We had stone tools, which we used for hunting, for survival. Then the outcome of fire by rubbing the two stones. So everything started with stones, with rocks, and with minerals. Most of you are from Madhya Pradesh, so you easily identify rock shelters of Bhimbetika. Now, what do these shelters depict? They express that we started living as communities. So rocks also helped us in having societies, in having communities. choosing livelihood, which changed our lives from nomadic to settled lives.
Forest and mountains are complementary to each other.
Yes, geodiversity underpins biodiversity. Everything which is living is dependent on geodiversity. Alright, so let us talk about some of the civilizations from caveman to societies. So we are a very rich society, you can say. We evolved over a period of time from say Harappan culture to the present times, and we were mining during those times also. We had coins which have those seals, so you can easily make out again source from earth. So how do we retrieve all this information? All the information is again based on rocks, minerals. Everything which is written on rocks is much sustainable than anything written on a piece of paper or a leaf or any other medium. What we unravel is all through earth materials. Okay? Alright, so let's go to Elephanta Caves. I'm taking you to different places. You all know about Elephanta Caves. How far is it from Mumbai? You have not visited, but those who have visited, batao Pune walo.
1 hour. 1 hour, right?
It's a small ride. You go by a ferry to Elephanta Caves. Now it does tell us about some of the very interesting religious practices which we had during those times. This is a Sadashiva, a three-headed Shiva. You look at the emotions of the Shiva. It is descriptive here in the text. But how do you define what was the Shiva's mood during that time, what it represents? So, in today's time also you pray Shiva. All of you pray, okay? So we had a lot of information again preserved in rocks, in these sculptures. Okay, so Apala Madam, people from Bengal, they understand the relevance of Durga. It is worshipped throughout South Asia also, but this is a statue which was again engraved in rock, old one, a find from Archaeological Survey of India. It also gives you a lot of history. You celebrate it to date. It's a big festival.
They give idea for the new Durga Puja. How it was.
Yes, I'll show you a very recent contemporary Durga idol. Now it has changed. The material is no more the stone, it's clay. Okay, clay again, a source from rocks. Again, a second depiction of Durga. Look at this. The recent how they portray Durga now. So it has also evolved. The colors, the material, everything, but the essence remains the same. Alright, let's come to Delhi. How many of you are from Delhi? Okay. So Delhi is a city post 11th century. It has expanded so much, and we documented this through an article and through our book. So look at this map. We just had the first city. This is the well-known Delhi Ridge and Yamuna River. Okay? So the whole city was confined to this part only. All the 10 cities were confined to this part, but now see how much it has bombarded. So the ridge is almost gone, and cities expanding, and it has entered into neighboring cities which are, we call it as NCR. So I'll give you a better picture of Delhi. This is what it was, the 10 cities documented here. You can easily see Lal Fort, Kila Rai Pithora. So these were all confined between this Yamuna river and Delhi Ridge. But look at it now. This is just a little patch. This is a little patch of where Delhi has gone. And the ridge is more or less over. With the new Supreme Court order, 90% of the Aravali will be wiped off. Alright, so this is my work. What I am doing these days is documenting the rocks which have been used in monuments, and these monuments tell you a lot of history, a lot of archaeology, a lot of architecture. You get information about architecture, how the architecture has evolved. Look at the temple architecture of the South, or the architecture of the Mughals used in some of these UNESCO monuments. So we have many interesting stones in India. Albert quartzite, Himachal slates. Can you ever think of a sculpture drawn in a foliated rock? Now slate is a foliated rock which is mostly used for roofing. If you go to Himachal Pradesh, you will see every house has a sloping roof made up of slates. But this is a beautiful, powerful sculpture of Shiva's Nandi, which is sculpted in a slate. You can see the foliation, the parting very clearly. So that's our culture. That's our history. Look at the scriptures we use. Like I remember using a slate during my school days. I don't know these days people use a slate or not. But
Most of us.
Yeah, now it has gone to the museum. So these are all the scriptures engraved on the slates. Alright, the yellow limestone of Jaisalmer, even this Sonar Kila, Abla madam, you can relate with this, was inspired by this fort, Jaisalmer fort, and it is a very interesting movie. There's an interesting novel. Yes, and Faluda's character. So you see, the stone is not only used for carving, for monuments, but is also used as an engraving stone. In Taj Mahal, this yellow limestone has been used as an engraving stone, as a decorative stone, not just for the monument. So in many places, now I think whenever you look at any monument, you will also try to look at the rock used in that monument rather than just the history of the monument. Alright, then the Makrana marble. Victoria Memorial. I have put the picture of Taj Mahal because everyone knows Taj Mahal is made up of Makrana marble. So this is a beautiful picture of Victoria Memorial, which is also made in Makrana. But this was built during the British period. They wanted to use the Greek marble. And there's a very interesting story. The Geological Survey of India, which was started by Britishers, we celebrated 175 years of GSI recently. They ordered the Greek marbles and they compared the Makrana marble with it. And they found that our marbles were much better than Greek marbles, and so Victoria Memorial was built using. And there's a scientific study in our INSA volume on this. Alright, let's move to the Western Ghats laterite. All of you know what is a laterite. It's Makrana, the name is Makrana. Yes, the stone was carried from Rajasthan to Uttar Pradesh to Agra. Yeah, so that time how did it reach from, that's also a very interesting story. So there are a lot of interesting things which we learn when we talk about the quarry marks, from where, which quarry the stone came. Besides dating, there are a lot of historical accounts. So how many of you are aware of this Western Ghats laterite? What is a laterite? What is a laterite? School teachers को तो laterite पता है क्या होता है? It's a soil profile which gets hardened. Okay? So I'm talking about Western Ghats laterite. How diversely it has been used, I'll just showcase that. This is laterite. This is a very soft rock. When it is cut, you leave it open. For 3 months, it is hardened and you can build a monument out of it, which is still surviving. I will show you many examples. This is a Argolim cave where you have a Shiva inside. You can see it is still preserved. This is bitumen, again a profile which shows the formation of laterite on the top of the rock. The rock can be basalt on which laterite forms, or a metamorphic rock like a charnocite. Laterites can form on any rock type. Haldi Kati? Laterite. I don't think so. It is reddish soil, but it hasn't hardened to a laterite. The soil has to change into a rock on exposure. Yeah. So then I will talk about some of the petroglyphs. These are engraved on the rock surface. So this labyrinth is very interesting. If you look at this labyrinth, it's a maze which we give to kids also to play. So that was done during the times when there were no such games, but people had their way, so they did it on the rock. So how the archaeologists interpret them? They have compared it with the labyrinth of UK. So see, the culture started everywhere. The caves which I showed, Arvelam cave or the Ajanta-Ellora caves or the Bhim-Betika. So people were not communicating with each other, but still they had that concept of community living in different parts of the world. I gave you 3 examples from India, but cave monuments are found everywhere around the world. कहाँ पे? हाँ, मैं तो आपको बोल रही हूँ कि बहुत जगह caves हैं. So see, people were not having mobiles, no telephones, no medium of communication, but still they were having cave dwellings everywhere. Cave monuments are found throughout the world, and people date them. So same laterite is used in very recent 400-year-old churches built by the Portuguese in Goa. And there's a beautiful city in Goa, we call it as, can anyone identify this city? This is a UNESCO site. Fontanias. No, it's in Goa. Fontanias, I'm telling you the name. It is Fontanias. It has very colorful homes, all coated with color, but inside the core structure is a laterite. Laterites used in Kerala as a burial stone. Some of the forts in laterite, even in Maharashtra, Karnataka, आप जहाँ से हैं, Bangalore के पास भी we have some laterite forts. Deccan basalt. So I already spoke about the Ajanta-Ellora caves, and then the British architecture, this is St. Xavier's College. So Deccan basalt has been used in this architecture. Granite. Hampi. It's very popularly known for Hampi. Mahabalipuram bhi hai. I will show. So this is Charnokite. Mahabalipuram is carved out of this rock called Charnokite. It's a metamorphic rock. And interesting part is, this is a statue of Oscar Wilde, which is installed in Merrion Square in Dublin. The shoes are made up of Charnokite from India. So this statue uses components from every part of the world. But how interesting it is, it's a literary figure shown in different rock types. Now, very interesting thing, we make rock pigments. We make rock pigments for paints. So I don't know how many of you know the science of a rock pigment. The ancient cave monuments all had paints made up of rock pigments. What was the fastener? We had the silk root from which, like I have displayed this stone here, which is a beautiful blue stone, and it's mostly from Afghanistan. Now this stone traveled through the silk root to reach places like Portugal. I have seen some of the paintings where they have used lapis lazuli, rock pigment to paint. How interesting. So rocks are not just about building, they can be used in many components. And I will come to critical minerals, which is of interest to a lot of scientists. Why is the Indian government after critical minerals? We will talk about it. Yes, for telecommunication, green energy, for everything you need critical minerals. Alright, so this is the book which we published where you can study about the first 55 heritage stones across the globe, and it is freely downloadable. So since we were talking about geosciences, these are the different aspects of geology geology, where we talk about landslides, climatology, everything is part of geosciences. And that's why Ministry of Earth Sciences is a combined ministry which caters to your climatology, meteorology, earth, beneath the earth, above the earth, everything. So I want to name few ministries which are geoscience based. Ministry of Earth Science with a clear mandate why they are integrated. Then Ministry of Mines, Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and also Ministry of Coal, which I forgot to put. So how many ministries of physics and chemistry have you heard of? In a lighter way, I'm going to ask you. So Earth Sciences is very, very relevant. Alright, so recently in October, this is Asit Saha, DG of Geological Survey of India, and then the Director General of Groundwater Board, Central Groundwater Board. They had a memorandum of understanding to look at the pollution of groundwater. So these all sciences and all interdisciplinary fields are coming together. For example, if I want to look for groundwater pollution, I want a geochemist to help me with that. So all the fields applied, like we also have an applied aspect where we look into the chemistry of the water, we look at the chemistry of the rock, so there are different branches. Then a very premier agency which looks after the mines, the minerals, the quarries, and these are some of the listed institutes which look for different you can say commodities, not only metallic minerals but non-metallic industrial minerals, petroleum, coal. And we have great India's potential for geotourism. Like we all do ecotourism, we talk about tourism, visiting any monument. We also have a lot of scope of geotourism. Geotourism is about naturally landscaped places, for example, the columnar basalts of St. Mary's Island in Karnataka. Yes, so this is how we have it in Giant's Causeway in UK and the identical landform we have in St. Mary's Island. So it can be used for geotourism. It's an innovative idea that you can use these spaces for geotourism. Alright, now one more scientific relation which I want to share is that the art of lithography was discovered by an artist, a German artist who had nothing to do with science, but he used a lithographic plate which is made up of limestone. So it is known as Schönhausen limestone, which was the invention of lithography. So this is the theatre person who invented this art of lithography using a limestone. Again, rock type. So quickly browsing through critical minerals because I thought it's the most relevant. We spoke about the rocks. Now we come to minerals. Minerals have a fixed chemical composition. Rocks can vary because they are assemblage made up of different minerals, so the composition can vary. So the summary, if you look at the document, it says these are very essential for countries' development, green energy and strategy. Everything included, we need these critical minerals. Now where are these green minerals? Where are these critical minerals? Who's looking after these critical minerals? It's a geologist, it's an earth scientist who's looking after critical minerals. So which are the ones? I have listed them from here. So a lot of people, those who don't know about critical minerals, they can just visit the Ministry of Mines website and look for this PDF where they have defined the critical minerals and its usage. Alright, so a few more examples, again from Madhya Pradesh. Now this is how they are panning and doing it manually. The land is leased because I thought you might like to know more about diamonds. It's the only diamond producing mine in India. Although India gave Kohinoor to the world, It is from South India, but the only mine which produces. Yes, that's in the south. But this is Panna, where you get diamond in the igneous rock as well as a placer, which is housed in a sedimentary rock. Kimberlite, lamproite. So that's a lamproite. So these are the small pieces of diamonds in the raw form. And look at this beautiful mineral quartz, the varieties of quartz. So can you ever think of one specific rock, one specific mineral which can be so colorful? So this specimen of amethyst is nothing but quartz with little impurity of chromium in it. So that imparts this color. So these are all varieties of quartz. And quartz is used for its piezoelectric effect. So this is in one of the mines, 400 meters beneath, and you can see many girls opt for geology these days. Thank you.